Kassadin started life as a lowly offcast, walking the harsh sands of the Great Sigh alongside merchant caravans to draw predators away from their more valuable goods. He survived many of these treks across the desert, and began to serve less and less as bait, and more as a guide. The foreign tongues that sought his talents often slurred their Shuriman, and so he became fondly known as Kassadin in the back alleys and markets of Belgium. He spent many years exploring the ancient ruins of his homeland, making his employers exceedingly wealthy. But it wasn't until a dig near Zarima that he found a treasure of his own. He fell in love with a woman from one of the desert tribes. With his now wife and newborn daughter, Kassadin finally settled into a small village in the rocky canyons to the south. His work still had him on the road often, sometimes requiring him to accompany particularly valuable relics to some faraway sponsor. But no matter where his travels took him, Kassadin would always return with exciting tales from the world beyond. It was whilst journeying home from distant Piltover, when Kassadin and his fellow caravaneers were watering their beasts at an oasis, that they encountered the first terrified survivors, stumbling out of the desert. They spoke of the disaster that had claimed their homes, as if the maw of the underworld itself had opened up to devour them. They had barely escaped with their lives. Fearing for his own family's safety, Kassadin left the others behind, riding hard, driving his mount almost to exhaustion. When he finally reached the place where his village had once stood, he found only shifting sand and rubble. He clawed at the debris until his hands bled, screaming his wife and daughter's names. But no answer came. It was days later until Kassadin's companions caught up to him. Now just a broken and empty man weeping beneath the scorching sun. They dragged him back to Zarima, but Kassadin would go no further. For years he tried to drown his grief, reduced to little more than a vagrant. Until word reached town of the Prophet. Whispers of unspeakable horrors that dwelt beneath the earth, and of sacrifices made in their name, chilled Kassadin to the bone. He knew well the legends of old Icatha, and the fate that befell that accursed place. If the void had been deliberately drawn toward Shurima once more, then it had likely been the death of his entire village, and countless more besides. He also knew that there were few, if any, who could stand against it. In that moment, Kassadin swore he would avenge his wife and daughter by destroying this insidious prophet and the source of his abyssal power. He was a man who had made his living by finding safe paths through the most dangerous places, and resolved to arm himself with the most arcane and esoteric weapons ever known in Valoran. Fused with Zornite ingenuity and blessed by Ionian spirit healers, he called in every favour he could, from scholars of antiquities to common smugglers, all in aid of acquiring what he sought. Many called him a madman, believing this the last time they would ever see their old friend alive. Kassadin merely thanked them for their concern, and bid them farewell. He would face the void, alone. Last of all, he stole the infamous Netherblade of Haruk, the sword that had slain 1,000 deceivers in the latter days of the Empire. He could feel the cold pull of oblivion on its edge, but no longer had any regard for his own mortality, and nothing of his old life left to lose. Disguised in the robes of a pilgrim, more than a decade since he had last set foot anywhere near that desolate land, Kassadin made his way into Icatha. He would go where no man was ever meant to walk. He would have his vengeance, even if it killed him. Thank you so much for watching. This has been great fun to make, and I hope to continue making more going forward. Let me know which League of Legends champion is your favourite and who I should do next. A massive thank you to Riot Games, whom all these tales belong to. Catch you next time, Summoner, on Lore of Legends.